Let's try different salts. First up, table salt.
I don't even know if we can still eat this. I remember there being a huge stigma about using table salt years ago. Oh, it's salty. Every single particle is the same size, so I'm sure you can still cook with this, you can still season things. It's just really highly processed. There's not a lot of nutrients, and with this whole health craze, I think a lot of people just opted out to some other salts that actually have vitamins or nutrients.
Pink salt.
And now this comes from the Himalayas in Pakistan, well, close to the Himalayas in Pakistan, but it's really far out from the actual mountains. And I mainly use pink salt when I cook. I don't know why, you just gotta represent, I guess. This honestly comes from a big rock, and then you just pretty much grind it or chip it down. And I think I also heard that if you do use pink salt, then you may need to use a bit more seasoning just so you can get that flavor out of the food. So that maybe the downside of using pink salt is that your sodium levels might go up because you need more of it. And from what I've read, this has a lot more trace minerals than table salt, like zinc and iron.
Black salt.
And you either love or hate black salt, also known as Kalanamak. And this is made from a volcanic salt rock in Pakistan. It's super pungent. It kind of reminds me of vomit, but in a good way. And you would typically want to use this in different types of spice blends like chaat masala, or you can even put this on watermelon. And there's a popular lemonade soda that's made in Pakistan where they would mix this into the lemonade.
Flaky salt.
I don't even know how they make flaky salt, to be honest. They pretty much look like crystals. Typically how I would use this is just use this as more of a finishing salt, so maybe on a piece of steak. And because of how good this looks and that texture, you don't really want to use this in every single situation where you may need salt. For example, if you're boiling water and you need to season the water for pasta, you don't want to use flaky salt. That's kind of a waste of money because these can be quite expensive.
Kosher salt.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's called kosher salt because back in the biblical days, they would use this to draw out the blood from the meat. It almost looks like little round balls. It tastes pretty much the same as flaky salt. It definitely isn't as strong as table salt.
Sea salt.
So it's basically evaporated seawater. It has more of a crunch, and it's also less processed than table salt, so this has a lot more trace minerals too. And kind of like flaky salt, a lot of people may want to use this as a finishing salt, so you can sprinkle this on top of things, but I also see a lot of people season their food with this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Right now, what would happen if we combine all of these together?
We got the master salt. That's way too much black salt.